Hello everyone, T-Man978. After a long wait, it feels like it, I'm going to be reviewing the Kickstarter McFarlane Toys Classic Spawn figure.
T-Man978 Chill Review.
So that I won't have to explain a whole bunch of stuff, I'm going to put a link in the description if I remember. So you can read up on this if you have no idea what's going on with this. But basically it was a Kickstarter program, and this is the lowest tier for the classic one. I didn't get any extra stuff, but Todd wound up throwing in a bunch of extras anyway. Underneath that slip cover you were just looking at this. It was packaged in 2 thick cardboard boxes and whatnot. So yeah, it should have been well protected. Pull this, and I get my certificate of authenticity signed personally by Todd. He filmed himself even signing it, so that's cool. Then this tells you what basically you get in there, which is cool. Then you open this, and you see a few of the extra accessories that I don't think were even going to be included at first, but there you go with that. You pull this foam out, and you have the actual packaging on the inside. And here we are, like a resealable clamshell, so you can open this as many times as you want and put it back in there. Very cool, very retro and whatnot. It's supposed to be representative of the first basic Spawn figure that they put out. Right here, you get this comic, which is not sealed in. You can't just pull that out. I believe this is a new cover. And inside you get the comic, and I know there was a color version of the book right there. But not only do you get that, but you get like director's notes, or like, you know how on a DVD you have director's commentary or actor's commentary tracks. There's commentary basically, or Todd's thoughts throughout here, talking about every single page, and I think that's really cool. Here's the back, and you can see the original Spawn figure right there, and the other figures that were available at the time. Inside we get one of his regular stands that come with the regular McFarlane Toys figures. But you see it says record setting because they set Kickstarter records with this being like a really quick funding project right here. Mostly in my opinion because it was a very good price. They charged you the same amount that they charged you $40, same amount they were charging for the first G.I. Joe classified Snake Eyes figure, which also had cool packaging and didn't need to be kickstarted. I already opened this, so it did have like a few twist ties holding them in there. But the one thing cool about this being kickstarted is everyone who wanted a figure got their figure. So yeah, you're not going to just be able to walk to the store and buy this guy. So besides that stand, you do get this sword right here, which is fully painted. It's like dry brushing or airbrushing or whatever you want to call it, or whatever it's really called. I mean, all up and down on both sides. Very thick, substantial. You get the necroplasm right here, which does fit into his fist right here. That just has a straight up hole in it. So it fits right on and looks like it is protruding out of his fist, which is cool. Of course, you get another fist. And it sort of has like the Marvel Legends style hands. Like in one of the interviews on the Kickstarter page, he even admitted that he wanted hands like this. You get the necro bleed right here that it can also hold in the hand, or dagger. You get some trigger hands, and this assault rifle, which of course, I'm just realizing I had two handles and whatnot, but that can fit in the hands. Simple enough. There you go. Outside of him, this is the last thing packaged in there. This is his unmaxed Undead Head, which is kind of molded oddly down here because of the way his body is molded. And we'll get into that. But anyway, here he is. Super duper updated. It's pretty much minus maybe a couple things or stylized choices. Pretty much just like what we've been getting with the McFarlane toys recently. Except this is like way heavier. I feel like there's more plastic in here. And I know a ton of that is this thick cape right here. Which is, it feels almost like a leathery material, but it is plastic, of course. It has the two hinges, so you can hinge this back and have him looking like this on the shelf. Or you can have it wrapped around him at least this much right there. So there you are. There's no other hinges as far as pushing it back or flooping it back. And yeah. And he was going to have plastic chains right here, but these are actual metal chains and they are thick. They aren't like thin. This one's thinner because it's smaller, but these are not thin, flimsy chains. And they are, let me just turn his butt around. What is attached to that. And it looks like they put extra effort into painting the detail on there, making sure it's like not fully clean. It is like dry brushing all up in there. The little pouches right there on his leg are painted all the way around. Spikes are painted. And these are hard. And I didn't mention this, but I always have my little message at the beginning of the video, but it says that this is not a toy. It's intended for people, for adults, and not intended for anybody younger than 14. But yeah, the brushing effect goes across the whole entire thing, even back there. So that's cool. Why I say this is just like his other figures, but just different in one way. One, the neck sculpt. He wanted the figure to kind of have like his pre-pose type situation, and he never hid that because it always looked like that to begin with. He wanted it to have this pre-pose thing, like, because he was always done like statue-like figures. So this is pre-posed, and the neck right here is kind of pre-posed. So when you move it, it does have a, like, it's on top of a post. When you move it, it can get a little bit weird looking. But the neck, I believe, is on at the top of the neck is on a double ball post. So you can lean that and get him looking up. It is admittedly a little bit difficult, but you can do it. You can get him looking decently up because, like I said, it's on like a double ball post. I popped this off to see what it was working with because I do notice that I can still squeeze this. So I was thinking maybe what if it had like the ab crunch joint under there, but I don't believe it does because I tried to fold. I popped his legs off and I tried to bend it. I couldn't. I believe this is like mostly a solid plastic piece, and then there has to be some type of hard plastic in there because the arms pop in there on ball joints just like his normal figures. Well, let's get you into the other articulation. You saw this neck can rock side to side and whatnot, and he can look down a lot and tilt and whatnot. Of course, you can pop this off. Pop his other more scary head in there. This has no upper neck joint. It's just that face right there. And I believe this was like, since he kept beating goals and goals and goals, he kept adding new things, and this was a head that wasn't going to originally come with this, I don't believe. But he gave it to everybody, so I'm happy about that. The arms are still on a post like the normal figure. So there is a little bit of wiggle for Butterfly, but not really. This is very, very hard and gets in the way of these shoulders, which if you want to get super dynamic, it is annoying. It is annoying, to be honest. You get a bicep swivel, even though you don't need that, because you also get an elbow swivel, and the elbow bends like that much, pretty much 90 degrees, shaped like that. Nothing new on some of his figures, like some Superman figures and some Batman figures are like that. And of course, all the hands hinge in and out the same way and rotate. That's different from the original design. And this, I actually like this better than what they showed originally, to be honest with you. You can probably see that if you go to the link to see the whole Kickstarter thing. But this ball joint or ball post has a lot of range side to side and twisting and whatnot. And he can come forward decently. And it stays. You could probably do it even more. All of this crotch and butt part is a softer plastic. The legs go all the way out to the side. Come all the way forward. You get that same type of hip rotation that barely turns right there. On this particular leg, you can rotate underneath of those pouches. No such luck over here because there is nothing breaking that up. Both legs do have double jointed knees. And like I said, these spikes are sharp. Here is what the ankle looks like. The ankle is different than his typical figures because it's actually sculpted to look like an ankle. Normally, it's just round on both sides, basically, on this figures. But there is a clicky motion right there. Of course, you can rotate it. And you can rotate it right here for the ankle pivot. And the toes come forward. And the toes, they aren't stiff, but they aren't loose. So, that's cool. As you can imagine, this cape is heavy as crap. Depending on how you have it bent will determine how he would be standing up. These discs are only but so helpful. And here's the bottom of the feet. Let me do a close-up on the toes. You don't necessarily see individual toes per se, but you can tell that there's probably toes underneath of that protective layer. But as you notice, here he is holding that. Here's the dagger. Given the powers this guy has, him using a gun seems a little bit silly, but there he is, and I am able to use this arm to make it cut that part right there, which is cool. And I didn't mention, but this is all painted, like definitely this gunmetal stuff right there. So it looks old and rusty. And lastly, here's the sword. This one, I tried it in both hands. It doesn't hold that very well with these graspy hands. Mostly because it's so freaking thick and heavy. And the fingers don't really grip around at the bottom. Maybe I could heat that up and try, but this is a gummy material that doesn't really stay as much as like other types of plastics. But you can hold it in his hand, but you have to painstakingly get him in the pose and then leave him like that and try not to bump into it or something like that. This is a 7-inch figure, so he's going to be taller than most of your Marvel Legends collection. Maybe you want him to be tall, like he's only like maybe maybe an inch taller than Spider-Man here, so maybe he can be 7 feet. Peter Parker is only like 5'10", so maybe he's like 6'5" or something like that. You could fudge him in if you want to. Here's some other McFarlane Toys figures right here. So you can see he's not one of their tallest, so that's why you can probably still fudge him into your 6-inch line right there. Let's put Superman right here. He and Superman are pretty much eye to eye. And here he is next to the Mortal Kombat 11 version of Spawn right here. So this one is it's taller. This is a tall figure right here. But you can see the different style and whatnot. I believe the cape can expand and grow, and depending on how you fight and whatnot. But it's not like super duper stylized like Todd was doing way early in the 90s and whatnot. Here is the sword that came with this guy. Let's see if he can hold it in his hand. Yeah, he holds it well because this is a thick piece of plastic, but it's not like very thick and as long as this sword right here. So yeah, it seems kind of moot to compare these guys together because, hey, you can't, like I said, you can't just go out and buy this guy easily. But if I've already have a review on him, but things this guy has over him is the double jointed elbows that bend more than 90 degrees. It has more of a butterfly action right there. And even though it does have a cut right here and the ball down there, you don't really get much more for motion on that, to be honest. This doesn't have a thigh rotation over there, and it's hindered by this boot that I guess Todd is fond of. But as you can see, I was able to get the necroplasm in that hand. And let's see how he holds the sword. He is able to hold the sword, but kind of the same deal. Maybe the handle is too small, to be honest. Maybe that's the problem, because it is still wiggling down there. But he can hold it. And here's what he looks like with this gun. So, yeah. Any old who. I like this figure. I feel like it's a premium purchase. The whole experience feels premium with the certificate of authenticity. The packaging, that comic book, the accessories that it comes with, the options. I mean, he's not dynamic. I would love if he was like super duper crazy dynamic. Todd's vision was he wanted a more updated version of that original figure, which had like 5 or 7 POA. And this has way more than that. He probably wanted this thing to be like a big giant statue that barely did anything. But his team probably was like, nah. We got to throw some more of that modern articulation in there. And that's why I've been even collecting McFarlane toys, like I was saying. But yeah, I am not disappointed, but it's not a super duper dynamic figure. So if you're trying to get this on the aftermarket, just keep all of that in mind. You got to know everything you're getting before you get this figure. And Todd was very, very transparent every step of the way while this thing was getting together. So you can decide whether, hey, as soon as I get this, I'm going to put it on eBay like one of my friends did already. But I don't think they should do this because that person isn't a super duper poser anyway. You know who I'm talking to. But I'm happy. I like it. They did a good job to me, to be honest. Thank you for watching. Until next time, T-Man978 out of here.
Click the videos. Click the videos, baby. Click the videos. You should really click these videos. Click the videos. Click those videos, baby. Click the videos. You really should click those videos. Click that shit.